What if Star Wars was completely different? Join us as we discuss the biggest what ifs in the saga. All that today on Chatter Squadron.
Flight to Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Never saw him again.
Okay.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Chatter Squadron.
What is going on? Do you want to just get I'll get you an air horn. No, I'll get you. Oh, yeah, I'll get
Thank
you some
you.
hip-hop
Actually, that'd be
horns.
awesome.
An air horn. That'd be horrible for
Do you
this
have a-
show. Just right into the mic.
Wait, do you have a sound on there? I could just do the air horn, just reach over.
You could probably get one on your phone.
I have one on my phone, but you probably might not be able to hear it.
Let's
But you probably-
not
yeah,
try.
Yeah, let's not try. Let's introduce ourselves. I'm Tyler Buck, sat across from Mike Calhoun and Johnny Troutbridge, as always.
Hey.
How are you guys doing this week? How's it going?
Whew, it's a great weekend. It's a sunny day today.
It snowed this morning.
no
Right.
more after dark.
Yeah, this is Chatter Squadron in the morning. Wake up with a fresh cup of joe and
traffic commute.
yeah, you're on your commute right now. You're driving your car. Pay attention. Look at the guy beside you. Give him a wink. He'll know what you mean.
Make sure your hands are on not 10 and 2 anymore. I think it's 9 and 3.
Yeah. 9 and 3.
Can't be 9. Oh, whatever.
Yeah, keep your hands
It's 12 and 6.
Keep your hands
Keep your hands.
keep your hands on 10 and 11.
12 and 6. Just making circles in that parking lot.
10 and 10:30. Interlace your fingers. More grip that way. Oh man, I went on vacation this week.
Where'd you go to?
I went to West Virginia.
Ooh, born and raised where the playground is. Sorry.
What the heck?
Take me home. What did you do down there? You have some fun?
I was there for my anniversary, and I did have fun, and I did do some things.
Despite what public opinion is.
Yeah, despite what the media is trying to put out, I did enjoy myself.
Great.
Wow. Did you get sick when you drove through the mountains of West Virginia?
No, I actually enjoy driving through the mountains.
Driving on a zigzag for
Yeah.
miles.
But here's something I would like to say. I took a detour on my way down. Did you guys see my story on Instagram at all?
Did you stop at Grandpa Cheese Barn?
No.
I didn't
no,
see
no.
where you stopped specifically, and I don't think this was one of the stops. I thought this was the destination, but I saw you have a cool headband and a cool gun.
Yeah, well, that happened.
That was laser tag.
Laser tag in the woods fighting children.
Oh my God.
What the?
Legitimately. But no, we took a stop from Ohio to West Virginia to a place called Point Pleasant, West Virginia.
Oh.
The location of the sightings of Mothman.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yes, so we took a detour there. I went to the Mothman Museum. I hugged the Mothman statue.
Oh, did you?
I got a Mothman shirt.
Did you see him?
And
Why didn't you wear the shirt today? You should have.
it's a tank top, and I didn't want to impress you guys too much
Oh,
with,
yeah,
with my Mothman shirt. But no, we took a detour, and it was very fun, and I geeked out a lot.
Awesome.
it was a Star Wars-esque nerd out by looking at all this stuff and being like, oh my gosh, look at that. And
It's
look at this.
Mothman.
Because that's like my favorite urban legend is the Mothman thing. So
I like the Lake Erie monster. That's just the cousin of Nessie.
you mean
Bessie, they call her.
you mean the hockey team?
No, that's what that hockey team's named after.
No, Johnny, it's just a hockey team. Johnny.
Yeah, it's just a hockey team.
No, they're part of the monster. They communicate.
the monster releases them. It births them into the.
that's why they're so
Why
cute.
do you think they return to the ice every night?
They're like the Monstars of hockey. They've been gifted by this creature.
It's like a puck, a magical puck they all touch.
It's like the Cloverfield monster spewing out little hockey players
that's
into
right.
the subway,
That's brilliant.
fighting them, making them explode. Spoiler alert. So yes,
So we're having a great weekend. We hope you guys had a great weekend, and
that-
we hope you have a good week.
yes. The point of that is we are here. We're refreshed. We have coffee.
We have so many things to talk about.
And one of the main things I wanted to talk about is something that freaks out some people, much like Mothman. The fact that Star Wars likes to recreate dead actors. How do you guys feel about that? Like Tarkin, and technically like Princess Leia in Rogue One. So how do you guys? First of all, let me put that out there. What do you guys feel about that, Johnny?
I'm like, if that becomes the norm, it's going to change a lot of things.
Yes, it will.
I don't know if it's like totally ethical too if you do it a ton. Because it's like, I don't know if that's really a representation of that person or you're just making it seem like that. I don't know. It depends on if we keep doing the sequel thing. Because if we do, then yes, it's going to become a major thing that keeps happening. Because
sequels, do you really think they would use that in sequels? It seems right now they're using it for prequel reasons, which I can understand, I guess.
Yeah.
I can excuse
I see
that.
what you're saying. Yeah. I just meant any movie beyond the original is more than what I meant.
One would hope that in the future we won't have franchises resurrected 50 years later or something along those lines. But Star Wars is definitely a standalone kind of example.
Yeah, it's not really.
I thought it benefited. Just to say, in short, I think the movie benefited from having Tarkin there.
Oh yeah,
and the Leia scene at the end was fun.
Yeah,
it didn't take away from anything. It was 2 lines.
Right.
It is impressive too. That would be. I can't even imagine doing that.
But here's something that a lot of media outlets are reporting on is that Lucasfilm is digitally cloning every Star Wars actor.
What? Is that true?
So this is from the Last Jedi VFX supervisor, Ben Morris. He confirmed that they are keeping a database of digital clones for use at all times when creating a Star Wars movie, which could even be used by manipulate someone like Alden Ehrenreich, the person playing Solo. I can never pronounce his name, and his performance as Han Solo in the next Star Wars story, overlaying minor Harrison Ford flourishes. That's not confirmed to have happened as of yet, but it is possible Morris goes into it saying this. We will always digitally scan all the lead actors in a film. We don't know if we're going to need them, but don't intentionally scan them as an archive process. It's for reference later.
Yeah, this is standard procedure.
Yeah,
This isn't even a news story.
Yeah, let me throw it over to our VFX person, which is Mike Calhoun. What as a insider, what does this seem to you?
This seems like the exact same thing that any VFX company in the world would do if they had a budget as big as ILM. Mm-hmm. This is exactly what they would do because every time we complete a project for a client, we archive it and we keep all the assets. So somewhere in some hole, there are assets for the very first model and very first rig and very first animation test of Woody, the character from Toy Story. That exists. There's a character built for doubles in live action VFX for Lord of the Rings. That's stored on a hard drive somewhere deep in the depths of New Line Cinema. So these are just same thing.
Yeah. Right. It's one of those things that because of, like Johnny was saying, the whole ethical thing, hearing a process like that, people start going, oh, why are they taking these down? And yeah, like he was even saying, it's for reference later.
Yeah. If they need to know what John Boyega's face looked like at whatever 25, whatever age he is, so they can put him as a DLC content in a game.
Right.
And EA is like, do you have a scan of his face, or do we need to like recreate that? And they're like, we have that. We'll give it to you.
Well, something that I know of is action figures. Mm-hmm. They're starting to scan people and then make them into action figures out of that scan.
That's why everything looks so beautiful these days.
Yeah, that's probably why it doesn't look like a piece of clay with 2 white dots for the eyes.
Yeah. So let's take this news story to its max, one level, and say that they are doing this. The VFX supervisor said, no, we are taking these because we're going to make full movies with people and their likenesses. This is why we're doing it. I'm coming out and saying it. Like, what would you think if they were to make, not full movies, like just where every actor is a placeholder, but what if it was like that?
I'd be disinclined to go see one of those movies because I remember seeing the Resident Evil CG films, and just they weren't very good. So it's just a type of movie that I don't really enjoy.
Yeah, it depends on what the character was, like, and how crucial they were to the story. If they're just doing it because they can, one, I don't think they'd do that because it's very hard to do, from what I know. I don't know. I don't know. It seems weird because the only reason I had a problem with it is if they made the character do something that the actor wouldn't want that character to do.
Well, and it comes to a point where, say, it is because they could do this for, as you were saying, John Boyega. Say it's 20 years from now and they want to put Finn in a movie, and John Boyega says, "Yeah, sure, you use my likeness." But how do we feel about the estate or the family of these actors signing off on, yes, use Alec Guinness, use his likeness?
That's probably all legal stuff.
Right.
I'm sure it's like something in their will, please do not use my, that sort of thing. Like
Alec Guinness was like, do not let them use computer graphics to reanimate my body. I want to not be a computer.
Yeah,
that would be if it's that specific.
I can picture that clause.
Yeah.
He would do it.
He would?
Yep.
You know Alec personally.
I know him. Me and Alec go way back. I call him Al.
Oh, yeah? You call him Al.
Yeah, he calls me Jay. Mr. J.
Mr. J.
He goes, "Hey, Mr. J," and I go, "Hey, Al, how's it going?"
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Because you used to,
we used to play golf.
Right.
Wow,
That's right.
That is a very
right. And you used to make
I'm much better than him.
You used to make his golf clubs for him, correct?
Yes, out of iron.
Out of iron, because
and that's why they call them irons.
That's
exactly.
After I made them,
like a 9-iron.
They were thinking like, maybe we should make an 8, but make it out of bronze. And I was like,
no.
What are they doing?
And
it's so weak.
And what's crazy is he even made the woods out of iron, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there was a tiger in those woods.
Yeah.
And then they were like, we should make a golfer.
But
and they did it with computer graphics. They made
Tiger Woods is a computer graphic CG image. Why do you think he's so good?
It's actually Tiger Woods has actually been a 12-year-old girl this whole time, and she's just amazing at golf. And they put the CG over. If you live, you see all the trackers on her face.
There's a little bit of shimmer.
Yeah, you see the green screen. That's why they only do it with golf, because it's against a permanent green screen.
That's right.
That's why they only digitally replace athletes in golf.
That's why they had the whole scandal to throw people off, because people were trying to figure it out.
Yeah, if you see real pictures of that, the press conferences and everything, there's caddies holding green screens behind the girl.
The podium, yeah.
And her voice actually sounds like Tiger Woods.
Yeah,
so they don't have to do anything.
They kept
with
the same voice.
Yeah.
That's why they chose her.
Oh boy. Hey everybody. So we're talking about Star Wars what ifs, as in what if Tiger Woods was a 12-year-old girl for the last 20 years.
Yeah, exactly.
We're talking about Star Wars what ifs. Mike, Johnny, and I have what if stories we're going to present to you in a couple minutes here, but also thank you. Oh, wow. Hitting everything. Thank you so much to everybody who gave us your Star Wars what ifs on our Instagram, on our Facebook. So many people have great ideas, and what we're going to do is we want to highlight a lot of them, if not all of them. At the end of the show, we're going to do a lightning round where I'm going to start reading them off, firing them off to each one of us, and then like a one-sentence thing of what would have happened if that thing were to take place. And I
think that's going to be tough. That's going to be tough on us.
Yes.
But it'll be fun.
I'm up to the challenge.
So we're about to do that in a second here. But one thing I did want to say, because our new sponsor is Star Wars _facts with a Z on Instagram. And I didn't tell you guys this. Congratulations to him. He just hit 100,000 likes or follows on Instagram today.
Wow. Bravo, sir.
Yes,
Congrats.
bravo. And then speaking of today, we are recording this the day of the new Solo trailer. We will see if it comes out.
We get an opportunity to see
if
it today.
we talk about it, but if we don't, I apologize. Just keep that in mind, and we're going to go to a break, and then we're going to come back, and you can hear some Star Wars what ifs. Oh, hello, everybody. Welcome. Come on in.
Hello.
Where's the counter?
This way, miss. This way, dear.
Come
This
here,
way.
sir, and your beautiful wife. Welcome to.
calling beautiful?
Welcome to
Sure, he's calling you beautiful, of course.
thank you.
Welcome to Hats Emporium, the Hat Palace of pourers.
Yes. We are looking for hats.
Yes.
My wife here is blind, as you can see, and
See, I can't see that I'm blind.
as he can see, dear. Just step over there for a moment. Yes,
She keeps running into my stock. Can you kind of pull her in?
Yes, there we go. She's steady. And I just, my young man, I just wanted to say that in order for her to get a feel, you might say, for the hats, she has to touch all the hats. So what do you have to offer?
Well, I would say.
Come here, dear. Come here.
I would say try out, check it, feel this hat. Now, if you see, it has a great bridge to it, and it has a great fabric going on, and also stitched on it, it says, follow Chatter Squadron on Instagram at Chatter Squadron, all one word.
Why is it in Braille?
Oh, well, I was trying to work my way into the unseen hat market.
Didn't know that was a large market.
Well, we're very fortunate that he did, of course.
Yes,
Now,
exactly.
tell me more about this Chatter Squadron.
Well, it's a
Chatterton Squad.
it's a great podcast that my brother, he cleans their place. So I talk to them sometimes, and I'm a big fan of the Star Wars.
Wonderful. Oh, okay. Oh,
So-
I see it's on this other hat. Dear, touch this hat. Feel it.
Yes,
Oh,
this hat, as you can see,
This alligator?
it's very large. You have alligator, you have some feathers, and if
Yes.
you see on the inside, it's stitched. Follow Chatter Squadron on the Facebook page, Chatter Squadron, a Star Wars podcast, where you can join their conversations there.
Oh,
Okay, well, why would you put it on the inside?
Well,
Yeah.
just in case you need to remember
It is
it.
an alligator's mouth. What if I put my head inside of it?
Yes,
Like
you
a
can
hat,
put.
like this?
That's exactly how you're supposed to wear it,
I
sir.
see it. It comes over the head. And, I can still read. Look at that. Chatter Squadron. Look at this.
Yes.
I can still see it in my peripheral.
Exactly.
Do you want to put it on? I know you can't see what you look like, dear,
dear.
but you look fabulous.
Oh, thank you.
This well before you leave with that perfect alligator hat, here is my pinnacle of hats, which is it just looks like a normal dad hat, right? With the 5 stitching and everything.
Yes.
But if you turn it over, it says now subscribe to Chatter Squadron on their YouTube channel, because for your wife, especially to enjoy, they're showing all of their episodes coming soon in a visual format.
Are you being cheeky with me?
Well,
I
you
think
get a
he's
little-
being quite.
you get a little
Yeah,
smart with
we have
me?
explained very kindly what we were here for, to touch these hats because my wife is visionless.
Jethro, don't let him get away
I
with
won't.
this.
No, he's running away. Come back here, young man.
no, I was just trying to come back.
No, we don't. You know
With this-
what? We'll take this whole store. I'm buying this hat store.
Oh, you know what? I've been trying to get this off my hands for a long time. That would be a great deal, sir.
Oh no!
You know what would-
Fallen
No, I
into
don't want
something
him to be
here.
happy.
He's very happy.
Well, I actually already have you signed this contract.
Oh no! He signed that contract to walk in the door.
Oh,
Yes.
I can't see it. I don't know why I should.
Yeah, and you signed it, Miss. You signed it in Braille, and it looks.
I can't sign anything in Braille, you idiot.
poked tiny holes into it.
Morse code.
Luckily, you guys have bought my store, and I can finally go and support Chatter Squadron in all kinds of ways, being social media and financially, sending them money. I can't wait to do this even more. Thank you guys. I'll catch you guys later.
Welcome back to Chatter Squadron.
Welcome back to Chatter Squadron.
Wait a minute here.
Wait a minute.
Hey,
This guy.
Wait a minute.
wait a minute.
We're back. Hello, guys. Welcome back from the break. Johnny is slap happy, and we're ready to get started with these Star Wars what ifs. Johnny, what if you weren't slap happy right now?
Are we gonna read a few what ifs from users, or is that at the end of the show?
That will be at the end of the show.
That's at the tail end. Where do you get off?
I mean, I could throw it over to someone's what if.
No. I'm ready.
Because
I'm ready.
no,
I hope you guys are ready.
Let's do a little teaser of a what if from a fan, because I just saw it and I'll bring it up in a second here, because it is a pretty good what if, and it'll be 1 second while it loads. All right, here it is.
These what ifs are. I mean, they can go anywhere, and people do take them pretty much anywhere.
Bailey Jean says, "What if Star Wars fans weren't such a big group of B words about every movie, book, and comic they're given?"
I would love to know that universe. You should write it up.
We'll never know.
Yeah, Bailey Jean, write that stuff.
Right? Yeah, that's the reality I want to live in.
Write a whole world. All right, so moving over to our what ifs, I believe Calhoun is going to start off. I gave you a interesting name, Calhoun.
Calhoun.
I believe Calhoun is going to start us off.
We decided on the format.
Yeah. Go with that.
And I want to introduce the way I'm going to read it. I'm going to read a narrative from the universe that has become from the event, or not necessarily the event, but a what if situation. And then we'll ask some questions afterwards, and you guys will ask me questions about the universe, the state of it. And then if you want to, you can guess what the what if was, but I'll probably just reveal it.
Okay.
I know we're all going to be a little different, but this is going to be fun.
I'm going to analyze finely.
Oh, great. Perfect.
Whatever you say.
Every word. All right. 3 hooded figures sit in a clean, symmetrical room with angular features. A rest hangar, and they sit in silence. Their ship is entering the Hosnian system, where they will meet with the new Republic leaders, including, and most importantly, High Counselor Leia Organa. Luke stood facing away from his half-dozen young students. He faced a sunset, just about to shrink over the horizon. They sat in a small crescent shape, awaiting his move. He smirked. Extending his hand out, wielding his lightsaber's hilt, he slowly lifted it to his waist height, and just as the sun disappeared, he ignited it. Oohs and ahs came from the small group of students. An older student, standing off and waiting to assist in the lesson, chuckles, remembering the first time he saw a lightsaber. He had asked Luke to show him and ignite it during the trip that they had taken to the Jedi Temple from his home planet. That was when he had agreed to join Luke in learning about the Force, over 10 years ago now. But he remembered it clearly, like it was yesterday. Luke gave the lightsaber a few skillful waves to the pattering of little hands giving applause. Then he lowered and retracted it. "This is a weapon," Luke said. "Should a weapon such as this be used at random?" "No," said the small group. The older student noted that one of them was paying little attention, not even looking at Luke. "Should a weapon such as this be used against the harmless?" he asked. "No," they said again. "Let us hope you will never have to use a weapon at all. But today you will begin your training, and you will learn what it means to hold such power. The lightsaber you eventually construct will serve as a physical reminder of the power you have through the Force." Most of the younglings look in awe, but Luke just smiles at them. The older student, still eyeing the disinterested student, thought she may prove difficult to train. He was upset that Luke seemed oblivious to her. A small voice, familiar, almost expected, beckoned to Luke inside of his mind. Distant, then clearer, then crystal. "That's a good line. You read that from one of the books?" Leia said, or perhaps sent to Luke. Their connection in the Force was great, and had only grown when they became the 2 most powerful Force wielders in the galaxy. After Endor, they had different desires, but as they worked together, they began to explore their gifts together, and eventually on their own. One thing that they had immediately agreed upon was that the truth of their father would make them outcasts, feared, and misunderstood. Darth Vader had become a martyr for some of the most devout of the Empire's scattered remains. Their quest for peace would require Darth Vader's lineage to remain a secret. Of the many things they came to understand about the Force, there was even more that they did not. Their mind's communication gateway was one of those things they chose to embrace, but did not understand. Luke looked at his students happily as a couple elder students began handing out wooden rods for practice. The elder students had long-earned lightsabers of their own, but in the long peace, many younglings had no need for weapons training, and therefore no knowledge of weapons safety. It was a good line, Luke sent in return. I thought of it myself. Seems to have gotten the point across. He looked from his stone platform across to the grassy hill where the students were seated. It doesn't seem everyone's impressed, Leia replied, making a reference to the disinterested student. She must have sensed Luke's own feelings on the matter. Leia had become powerful indeed. I see you've noticed. No matter, she'll come around. Luke's thought was interrupted. A lightsaber is ignited with a rapid buzz. Gasps are heard. Luke extends his arm immediately, the blue beam disappears into the hilt, and it whips into Luke's hand. Everyone stands frozen. The older students look at Luke, then back at the student that ignited it. She tries to scowl at Luke's face, but cannot hold her expression. Luke pulls the lightsaber into his cloak sleeve, then begins to walk toward the student. The stone platform that Luke was on was that of a stage, with steps leading to a lower area where the students sat. When Luke strode to the edge of the platform, his pace was unchanged, and he began walking on what appeared to be nothing. A few steps, and he was looming above the student. He takes the lightsaber into his open palm and lets it float back to its proper owner, never breaking eye contact from the youngling. Then he turns and casually walks back to the platform, calling for the younglings to split into pairs. Leia was apprehensive of this meeting. Every aspect of it seemed clouded, and even the circumstances of the meeting seemed surreal. She felt a rumbling in the Force. She didn't know whether it was a threat. She'd become accustomed to being several steps ahead of her political opponents, and many steps ahead of any potential threats to her well-being. So feeling uneasy before a diplomatic meeting was not something she had experienced often, or in a long time. The transmission had come from the outer regions. Even C-3PO could only make out the words meeting, great importance, offering, along with a multitude of unintelligible sounds. But the words Leia Skywalker were very clear. And the New Republic's outer region scouts urged that this was a top priority encounter. The few hours that had passed from the discovery to the transmission and now to a meeting had been little enough to prepare for a party among friends, let alone a diplomatic first encounter. Joining Leia were the 14 other members of the High Council. None shared a homeworld, few shared a species. The way Leia had helped sculpt it. The other counselors were in the dark even more so than she was, and she was actually glad for it. C-3PO entered the room, announcing that the shuttle had landed and the guests will arrive shortly. Some whispers begin, and Leia thanks C-3PO, telling him to assist in escorting them as he leaves. A Rodian counselor approached Leia. Why do I feel like we are the unprepared ones for this meeting? She asked. I agree. I have a bad feeling about this, Leia said. Leia turns as the room goes silent. Everyone was peering down the hall as the three hooded figures fade into view. C-3PO squeaks into the room and gives a shrug when Leia looks at him, implying, tell me who they are. The figures come to a halt about 10 feet away, and before Leia can think of what to say, they pull back their hoods and remove their cloaks. A droid comes by to collect them. The room stands in silence again, eyes of each party drinking in the scene. Leia is the first to move, slowly gliding to the middle member of the trio. They were humanoid, with jet black hair and blue skin like a Pantoran. But the mesmerizing piece of the puzzle were the glowing red eyes that she felt she couldn't read at all. On behalf of the Council, allow me to welcome you to our capital. I am Leia Organa. The name seemed to mean something only to the closest red-eyed figure, who looked at her expressionless, while the other two looked at the other 14 members surrounding Leia. C-3PO began translating Leia's greeting, but only got a few words in before the male with red eyes spoke up in English. Common. Leia Skywalker, I believe this belonged to your father, Darth Vader. The room gasped. Whispers were rapidly exchanged as the red-eyed man lifted a velvet sack, pulling out the crushed helmet of the Dark Lord. End.
I like that.
I apologize for its lengthiness.
No, that's okay.
That
was good. That was well written.
It was very, very good, and there's several things that Can I have some guesses that I throw out?
Throw out guesses, throw out questions. I just have fun with it.
First, I'll start with a guess.
Okay.
If I can. What if Han never came out of carbonite?
Should I just let it loom, or should I answer the question?
I just let it loom for now.
Okay.
Any questions?
What if that student at the beginning was Ben Solo?
Who is Ben Solo?
The older one.
The older one?
The older one that smiles when he ignites his lightsaber.
Yes, but the
older one that remembered, the older that
the
was
older one.
recalling.
It was like 10 years ago.
The one thing that cut that part for me is the severe
Leia Skywalker
that and the severe lack of Han
being there.
What if Thrawn
Lived?
Well, yeah, but what if Thrawn brought the Chiss Empire in full?
Aren't they like the Chiss Ascendancy or whatever?
Yes.
They are called the Chiss Ascendancy. I'll leave that loom as well.
They were obviously Chiss.
Just ask me about like what's going on with this person, what's going on with that person.
Right. So what is going on with Han?
Han is happy
He's alive. Okay.
at this point.
Okay.
I'm gonna get to my notes real quick. Do we want to read exactly what's going on with Han?
Yes, I will hear.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Chewbacca and Han Solo led space and ground assaults for about 3 years after the Battle of Endor, until the momentum of the Alliance was overwhelming, and Chewie started to feel the need to escape again. He had been out of his comfort zone for too long, and he took his leave from the service of the Rebel Alliance to start what he intended to be a legitimate shipping business in the capital of Kashyyyk, hoping it would become a booming system of import-export. Han was more savvy on the business end, tough on negotiations, but slipped deals to their friends when Chewie was paying little attention, which was always. Chewie wanted to be hands-on, which Han felt was counterproductive, but the business remained profitable despite Chewie's personal derailments and debts.
Oh, interesting.
So Chewie basically became John Solo.
Well, no, but keep going. Keep asking me questions.
So
I don't want to prolong mine.
I understand.
okay, is Ben Solo alive? Is Ben Solo a thing?
No, Ben Solo does not
what I
exist.
Who was that kid? The one that trained with Luke for 10 years.
One of Luke's not earliest, but one of his earlier students. Within
Marge
10
8?
years after it took place 10 years after Endor.
I was assuming that was a ruse, a character put in there to feel like Ben Solo.
Just to give a little perspective.
Who was the girl?
The girl is a troublesome student that Luke is having.
Okay.
It's not Rey or anything like that.
No.
Cool. I know you hate coincidences.
She's actually
so.
Dathomirian. She's a Dathomirian student.
Okay.
Oh, that makes sense why she's a troublemaker. All right, I'll ask one more question.
Okay, and then I will reveal.
How did Thrawn obtain a helmet that may be Darth Vader's?
He is fascinated with artifacts from around the galaxy, and he used his remaining Imperial contacts in the dying days of the Empire to assemble what he could regarding the new rising threat that he called the Rebel Alliance.
Yes. One last question for you, Johnny.
And that wasn't necessarily Thrawn.
It was Thrawn.
It was Thrawn.
Is the Empire gone then?
The Empire is eradicated.
There's no remnant or anything. There's no First Order.
Here we go. The Empire became but a memory. Even those that didn't know much about the Empire feared the white stormtrooper armor, though, but not for its previous reason. Locals of many isolated systems had never seen a stormtrooper alive. They had only seen them as thousands of dead bodies. In the dying hours of the Empire, the most enthusiastic and fundamental followers had indeed been the last to survive, and because of their commitment, they refused to surrender. So the armor was regarded as cursed, many folktales claiming that they were the physical manifestation of ghosts. Several cultures forbade the armor to be worn, so it was seen by renegades, scavengers, and bounty hunters.
All right, I have one last thing, and then I'd like you to reveal.
Yes.
I like your lore building. That's good.
What if Darth Vader turned good a lot sooner?
Is that what it is?
No, it's actually
'cause his
quite
helmet.
stupid and simple. It's what if Han and Chewie's roles were switched?
Wait, that's what I was like when you were reading that. I was like, wait, Han would not be a legitimate business person. And I was like, okay, but that's whatever. But like, wait, why would that change everything? Why would that make Luke not go crazy or go off by himself or have Ben?
Because
Ben
Ben
Solo wouldn't exist.
There's no such thing as Ben Solo.
Oh my
Right.
God.
And also,
And they can't have and Leia and Chewie's relationship ended almost immediately because they couldn't have biological children, and that was the only thing that linked Leia and Han.
Yep.
Oh my God.
So I believe Chewie would have returned at the Death Star run, but after that fact, you said, he got away from the Rebel Alliance.
Yeah, he helped for about 3 years. It took 10 years for the Empire to be eradicated by the New Republic. Mm-hmm. Luke helped out with that. Then he retired. Then he started training his own students. And after 3 years after Endor, that was when Han and Chewie.
It's just that simple, people.
So simple, but it changed so many things.
Han kind of messed it up. You put so many red herrings in there.
Why did you just throw in Thrawn for fun?
No. Because I was like, what in this new era?
Yeah.
What would the Chiss ascendancy be? What would their strategy be going forward? They'd be like, well, we need to infiltrate them now.
Right.
The New Republic.
And so I'm guessing that is Thrawn's trying to get in. Is the fact that he was showing dominance by tarnishing the Skywalker name permanently. And then one last question, and then Johnny, I'd like you to go next.
Leia Organa.
I'd like you to go next, Johnny. But the question is, how did the Return of the Jedi battle go between Luke and Vader?
Exactly the same.
Exactly the same.
Pretty much.
What about Leia's role on Endor?
Almost exactly the same. It's almost a beat for beat timeline.
Yeah.
Through the Battle of Endor.
Okay.
Considering Leia, Chewie, and Han were all at the same place on that same mission. Mm-hmm. So the same sort of like, I don't know. I feel like the actions would have been pretty much the same.
And I lied. There's one more serious question. So in this universe, is Han the one who wants to go eat the thing, and it gets everyone
pork?
caught? Yeah, everyone caught in the net.
That's the question everyone's worried about.
Yeah.
No, that was just Chewie getting them involved in a terrible trap, like like Han would.
It's a trap.
All right.
Just think, being overconfident.
Yes.
That's how they.
I would like us to be able to post this story with its
sure,
lore at some point for people to kind of dive into. Johnny, go
All
for
right.
yours.
Mine's definitely a different speed than that.
That is fine.
Do not take mine with any gravitas.
I'm going to take it with all the gravitas.
Which
Also, I did not think out all the implications of this because there's some suspension of disbelief that has to go on.
I accept. It is Star Wars.
yes.
All right, ready?
I'm listening.
Do you want me to just like give you the premise, or
No, just
you just want me to read it?
Just read it.
It's not super long.
Go for it.
All right, here we go. Light peeks through the windows of a Coruscant penthouse and lands upon the sleeping face of Dr. Jango Fett Esquire.
This is great. The end. The end.
That's the end. No, man, I'm gonna have to keep her laughing because there's a couple. Okay.
Good Lord.
Dr. Fett slowly opens his eyes as his 6 identical smiling wives gently tap him on the shoulder. He looks into their faces, completely mirroring his own, except with slightly longer hair. Hold on. Dang it. Okay. hold on.
Say that line one more time.
He looks into their faces, completely mirroring his own, except with slightly longer hair. Django leans up and 47 of his children come bounding through the door into his bedroom.
Okay.
All right. Man, it might be better if someone else reads this.
You want me to read it?
Yeah, it'd be better if you read it. Okay.
Okay.
Except,
Gonna lose it.
but to maintain, just leave out. Where's the pen?
Oh boy!
Don't do this part.
Late edits, everyone.
Don't do this part till the end.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, you should read it.
Okay.
Oh,
Try not
man.
to laugh.
Bounding into the bedroom, they start laughing and jumping on the bed. Their identical faces rapidly ask him, "Are we going to fly today, Father? Are you going to the Jedi Temple? Are you going to run for Supreme Chancellor?" Django laughs. Django gets dressed and heads downstairs. "Ah, there you all are." He calls to a clone on all fours. A clone on all forms. "Come here, Django Fetch." The clone gallops over and Django places a leash over his head. "I'm off to the diner," Django calls to the bustling house. They all yelled out a "yes, sir," and Django laughs. He then heads out the door to the diner. He pauses on the steps to the main walkway to wave to his neighbors, Anakin Skywalker and Padme Amidala Skywalker, while their 3 kids, Luke, Leia, and Ludacris, run around at their feet. Django sighs a happy sigh. Django arrives at the diner, ties Django Fetch to the post outside and enters the diner to find Mace Windu sitting impatiently at the farthest booth while removing the cap from the ketchup bottle on the table. Django walks over to find the Jedi Master reading the hollow newspaper with the heading, "Palpatine discovered to be Sith." Pretty obvious when you think about it. Did you see the weird status in his statues in his office? ? That's the headline. Mace notices Django walking and adds, "They are they're executing him today. Death by never-ending fall. A terrible way to go. Sorry I'm late, Django says. It's fine. I'm just so worked up about the Senate vote on the new chancellor. We need you to enter, Django. Valorum is so boring. Django responds with a shake of his head. That kind of pressure would make a man pop a blood vessel. Mace Windu smiles for the first time in 12 days. Well, don't lose your head. We could have Jedi help you. Oh, you would have a great support base. Just then, Django receives a message from Obi-Wan Kenobi asking him to play space chess at the Jedi Temple. He uses the excuse, listen, I gotta go. Thank you for meeting with me. Django gets up and starts to walk towards the exit. Mace calls to him, you could be great. You could be everything the galaxy needs. Django calls back, I'm already everything my family needs, and that's good enough for me. Mace smiles a second time. Who are you? Who even are you? Django replies, I'm just a simple man trying to make my way in the universe. Okay, I'm going to read this crossed out section. So Django laughs and replies, I'm just a simple man trying to make my way in the universe. Okay.
I didn't want to use it twice.
I feel it.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So what if
This is it's a pretty crazy premise, but
Dude, I'm losing it.
You know-
Okay, I have a question.
go for it?
Where did the Clone Wars happen?
no.
No. Okay. So
They found out he was a Sith pretty soon.
I see. Oh, okay. So
He's been on trial, and they were just executing him. Like,
all right. So is there a clone? Is there a clone army?
yes, but
Okay, here's what I think it is. What if Jango Fett outed Palpatine as a Sith?
no.
Okay,
It's what if the Republic rejected the clone army and Jango took them in as his children and family?
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, what if Django
All of them.
was yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, what if Django was like one of the people that developed his own clones?
Okay.
But
for his own purpose.
All of them.
here's
What
the
if he adopted them all?
here's the real question: is Jango Fett just a man on his all fours?
It's just a man on his all fours.
Dude, that is just wrong.
Oh my
Oh
god!
lordy,
right.
Django Fetch.
Are you guys ready for mine?
Yeah.
I need to take a second to drink some water and recover. Oh boy.
Jango Fetch. Okay,
Oh my goodness.
you ready?
I am
Here's
now ready.
my what if, everybody. Anakin hurries to his speeder, realizing what he's done. By outing the Chancellor as a Sith, he has just sentenced his wife Padme to death. It is time is of the essence to save the one he loves. Mace is dazed. The Jedi Masters who he chose to bring along in this mission, the most important moment in the Clone Wars, lie dead beside him. His friend's death deal a huge blow to Windu's soul, but his focus flows back to his enemy. Skywalker speeds through the city, thoughts racing through his mind. What will become of the Senate now that they know they were tricked by the very enemy they were searching for? What will happen to Padme, his muse, his life? Will Obi-Wan finally see Anakin as a full master for being brave enough to discover the Sith presence? Anakin hopes and dreams move towards a different life. He is the headmaster of the Jedi Order. He changes all he sees wrong. He is finally seen by people as powerful as he truly is. But can he lose his honey boo-boo? His pretty peach? His dainty little... Wait, wasn't I supposed to take a left back there? Darth Sidious has finally revealed his power, his ultimate power to be exact, as he continuously drives the Jedi Master on his back foot with a powerful spin-like attack. Anakin leans out the driver's side window of his speeder and screams at the top of his lungs, "No, no, no! I'm trying to make it to the Senate building, not the Opera House. I'm sick of that place." A Rhodian street food peddler informs him, "2 lefts and a right." Anakin replies with an angsty, "Ugh." Mace sees through the strange spinning maneuver as he retaliates with an overhand attack that's very shattery and pointy in nature. "No, no, 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 no!" Anakin yells as he pulls to the front gate of the Opera House. A young human female greets him. "Hello, General Skywalker, and welcome to Plagueis the Musical. We apologize, but no Jedi are allowed." Anakin replies with a, "Wait, I don't have time for this." And I didn't want to see that anyway, so whatever. Mace Windu stands over the newly discovered Sith Palpatine. He exclaims, "I'm sorry, you're too dangerous to be kept alive." He raises his purple lightsaber, plunging it down, and Sidious yells, "Too bad Anakin is..." Wait, where? As he gets severed in half. Finally, Skywalker exhales as he exits his speeder just outside the Chancellor's office. Splat! Puzzled by this sound, he turns around to find what's left of Palpatine spread across his ride. Oh, I hope that isn't what I think it is. As his thoughts are confirmed, he stands there for what seems like forever, wondering how he can save Padme now. "Skywalker, I thought I told you to stay behind. We have a lot to talk about," Mace shouts from just behind him. Anakin stands in front of the Jedi Council, much like he did days ago when they didn't promote him to Master. Their questions reach a fever pitch. "Tell us why you were at the Chancellor's office. Give us a straight answer once and for all, young Skywalker," Coyote Mundi says sternly. "I was on my way to the Opera House. Just thought I'd swing by and see how the fight was going." "Not true, that sounds," Yoda replies. "I thought Mace may have forgot his lightsaber, so I was going to lend him mine." "Uncertain, that makes me." "Fine. I was on my way in a last-ditch effort to save the love of my life, my secret pregnant wife, Padme Amidala." "In your dreams," Plo Koon mutters. The whole council laughs. Obi-Wan solemnly says, "Anakin, we have to keep you in the temple for a few days while we figure out what the true nature of these events are. I'm sorry."
Ooh. I like it. I like it. It's basically he gets lost.
What if on the way to the opera he got
That's
lost?
Great. I love that. I thought about that before.
It is, yes. That is basically it. What if Anakin got lost on the way to the Chancellor's office?
The
Which way is it?
Confrontation. I can't remember.
Yeah. Wait, was I supposed to take a left back there?
I love that.
Oh, man.
That's great.
Which would have changed pretty much everything, because when he was there, that's when he made the decision to cut off Mace's hand.
Yeah.
So there wouldn't necessarily be a turn point. It would just be, and that's the seriousness of this, it would be why were you trying to get there? Why did Palpatine say, well, Anakin is actually, what? What? There's all those questions.
Well, he was going there to stop them from killing him, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know if the turning point, I think it burnt to a fever pitch when he attacked Mace. It was a little different, you're right.
But
his intent was the same.
And then the main thing too is if Mace killed Palpatine, Anakin wasn't there to cut off his arm, Order 66 would not have been made.
Also, the kids would have been born fine, and she probably wouldn't have died in childbirth.
That's one of the things.
Ooh,
Yeah.
catch-22.
They would have been. Why is that? Oh, because it was
'Cause she-
Sidious that was manipulating her health or something like that.
No, she died because she lost the will to live because her Anakin man guy.
And also Anakin did
evil.
choke her till she passed
Good
out.
point. That's also a big part of it.
One of the answers to those questions is Padme Padme does not die from sadness.
Oh, great.
go.
That was going to be my.
Any other questions?
I have another question. What is going to? I can't go too far in the future, I guess. Man. What is going on with? Yeah, what's going on in Obi-Wan's mind? That's what I mean.
So
now they have to do a full investigation. But Anakin wasn't technically
but at that
completely
point-
turned yet.
At that
Just
point,
a little bit.
Obi-Wan knew about that anyway.
But yeah, he's a person of interest, and what my whole thing is, now the Jedi know so much that they start investigating. They figure out Padme and Anakin's involvement. He, in front of everybody, he basically admits it. And also Obi-Wan, this is what I would think. Obi-Wan visits him every day and turns him all the way good by the time they let him out. So think about that. Think about Anakin being kept and them being like, what brought you to this, way? And Obi-Wan just coming every single day and talking to him in like a two-way jail cell type thing.
Oh, wait, what happens with the CIS?
The Clone Wars keep going because the CIS,
does it end?
they don't get killed. Mace Windu actually takes over the Republic Army and basically just pounds them to dust because of Mace's tactics.
Oh, at that point, Grievous would have been dead.
Yep.
Yeah, Grievous is
So
dead.
it would have just been
It would be a matter of time.
And what's his face is dead.
and Dooku,
Yeah, Dooku's
and Sidious. So it's just a matter of time before the CIS kind of starts to crumble. And
Yeah, that's true.
I imagine upon realizing that Darth Sidious is like no longer speaking to any of them,
Yep.
and Dooku's dead, and all of
And
they'd
Grievous is
probably
dead,
just be
yeah.
like, well, I need to get my own piece of the pie, and they'll probably be like infighting.
I said it as Mace Windu leads the clone army to victory 2 years later against the CIS.
2 years. Yeah, it sounds about right. Mace get it done in 2 years.
well, it was only like 5 years long anyway.
Yeah. And then a couple last things I would think that would come from this. Padme helps Bail Organa to become the Supreme Chancellor in place. And I would see Padme being one of the top people in the Senate with him.
Wait, what about Mon Mothma?
So her children would be just raised as senators' children. Quite force
would they
sensitive.
still have?
senators'
Yeah,
children.
would they still have the Force?
Of course.
Yep.
Yes.
And I say Luke and Leia become Jedi. I believe if the Jedi took it a lot slower, they would be like, okay, well, these children are force sensitive. They're kind of, I would see them playing with the cards they were dealt. You know what I mean? Like, okay, well, Anakin has a secret life and Padme is part of it. We just kind of have to back them in this sense. And, oh, look, these children are super force sensitive, so we should probably train them and that type of thing.
And then Luke turns evil.
One of the main things, and then I'll end with this, is the Jedi have a lot of explaining to do to back up their claims of Palpatine being a Sith. Because at this point, a Jedi basically cut the president in half and threw him out a window.
Yeah, good point.
So, because if you think about it, the logic of just going, well, Anakin told us, so we went there and tried to kill him.
Anakin would be. It would be.
Everything would be on him.
It would be. No. It would be like important for Obi-Wan to have like these pseudo interrogations with him.
That's exactly
to extract information. So Obi-Wan would be this torn man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Having to extract information from his former best friend, not knowing whether they were going to keep him alive. In the
But
end.
Anakin didn't know he was a Sith until like the same day,
Right.
when he admitted it. Mm-hmm. And then now it's just Anakin's word.
Yeah.
Well, I think Anakin's snap decision is what kind of turned him. Because if you remember, he pulls his lightsaber out on Palpatine, saying that you are the Sith that we've been looking for. The first thing he does is he goes to Mace and tells him that.
Yeah.
And I think his main turn is that snap decision of, I want to save Padme.
Yeah.
And he cuts off Mace Windu's hand. And that the whole thing, what have I done?
Yeah.
Remember the lines.
Yeah.
And that's what basically takes Sidious to turn him, and say, well, you're already in too deep, kid. But at this point, those things have noodled in his head, but he didn't act on them yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is
Wow.
a what if.
Yeah.
What if Anakin got
Pretty
lost?
simple what if.
Yes.
It turns into such magnitude.
True.
I like it.
And Plo Koon, I feel like he would say, in your dreams.
In your dream.
Where was Django Fetch in there?
I want to know about Django Fetch.
Django Fetch. He also helps Mace destroy with his 2,000 very fit children. Very fit indeed into fighting. Oh, so no, let me exclaim to everybody listening before we go to our last break, where we hear you guys and what you think are good what ifs. Let me say, amazing world building by Calhoun with this simple what if Chewie and Han
I just got
switch
carried
places.
away. That's
Right,
really
right.
well it was. I got carried away.
Which is great because we can dive into that, at another time. Johnny, I don't know what you are thinking when it comes.
that was pretty wild.
All I can say is I hope somebody draws up Django Fett Esquire and his family and
Why
Django
was he an
Fetch.
Esquire? Was he a lawyer? Why? He's doctor.
He's a doctor and a lawyer.
He was that smart, huh?
Oh, yeah.
That's amazing.
He's just a simple
That's why
man.
I thought he was one of the scientific cloners. I thought he did it on purpose.
And then, here's another thing. Make sure you use your GPS if there is a fight going on. That's going to change the galaxy forever. Turn on your GPS. Don't think you can make it there on your own memory. So, all right, we will be back in 1 second and look at your guys' what if. It's time to face the facts.
Like the fact that Winston Churchill was born on November 30th, 1874.
No, actually, what I was trying to say was
The fact that pi is 3.141592653.
The fact that coffee is just hot bean juice.
no Star Wars facts.
Hey, we tried.
If you're looking for more knowledge on Star Wars, either canon or legends, well, Star Wars _facts with a Z is the place to go.
Oh, so you're saying I can finally stay up to date on this ever-changing saga?
Thank the maker.
And be on the lookout because he's creating a brand new website full of original content.
What are you saying, like stories, articles, and scientific breakthroughs?
Yes to those first two.
I'm going to go follow Star Wars Facts on Instagram so I can stay current on all things Star Wars.
That's right. Go follow Calhoun's lead and check out Star Wars Facts.
I'll brew some bean juice to celebrate.
Yay.
We had one, though.
What if we had our own Django Fetch? It'd be Jojo Fetch.
You know, Django Fetch is just a human person.
Oh, who knows? Who even knows? If somebody animates them, they get to choose. If Django,
That's true.
If Django Fetch is
Just
a
clone.
dog cloned from Django Fett's DNA. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Chatter Squadron. We are about to do a lightning round of a question that I posed to the Star Wars fan base, which is, what is the biggest Star Wars what if? We're going to be going off of our Facebook, our Instagram, and our good friends at Star Wars News, the Facebook page, in a second. But I will kick it off with Lizzie Milhone saying, what if someone just let Darth Vader go to art school?
Oh, that would be nice.
So he becomes Darth Vader, and then Palpatine says, "You know, I made a mistake. You're going to art school." I think the universe would be better for it.
True.
It'd be like Hitler, but if
Exactly.
he stayed an artist.
You're
Yeah, I
right.
guess.
You're
That's-
right. That's a great one.
That
I think
yes.
that's what they were going for.
Exactly. Red Mando Commando. Johnny, what if R2-D2 could talk?
Everyone would be sad because he throws a lot of shade a lot of times.
He does throw a lot of shade. They've been a little animosity toward him.
Everyone would be like, R2D2's here.
Oh, this dude, he's so rude.
I don't like this guy.
Calhoun, Kenoben Solo. What if Qui-Gon just left Anakin on his home planet?
Oh boy. Suppose Anakin would eventually have developed some sort of force or no, it would have been laid dormant, and he would have just been probably a successful like a trader, or
maybe a pod
or
racing
like
star.
a pod racing star of some sort.
Yeah,
He'd
that's
probably get picked up by a promoter.
El Carlitos, 13. Johnny, what if Palpatine never said, do it?
Then maybe Anakin wouldn't have killed him. I don't know.
I'll answer this one. Alderaan Kilgannon. On a serious note, in my opinion, the biggest what if Anakin never turned to the dark side? That changes the whole story. It does. When I think it comes to that point, like we were talking about, when Mace Windu's about to kill Sidious on that platform at the window, Anakin just says, "Okay."
Yeah, it's just a coin flip there.
Yeah, he's too.
Like, you're right. He is too dangerous.
He's too dangerous to be kept alive, and Anakin is just like, "Good call," and then bam, he's dead.
Anakin helps.
Anakin helps. He starts kicking him. Yeah.
That's what you get. Lightning, my friend.
Old man.
Nate the Great, 116. Johnny, what if Padme didn't die?
Then Luke would complain to his mom and not Aunt Beru about the moisture farm. I don't know.
I've got one for Tyler.
Go for it.
This is from Patrick Meyer. What if Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan just left the space station and went back to Coruscant? I'm assuming this means in Phantom Menace.
The Phantom Menace. Well, they wouldn't know much about the stuff going on in the Naboo conflict, and
They'd probably get there late, and Obi-Wan would have been captured, I guess.
Obi-Wan wouldn't have been able to say, Look, Master, destroy us.
yeah. You know what? That's the biggest travesty.
Yeah, that would have been terrible.
Alternate
He would have been
timeline.
able to say that.
Destroy us.
I love that.
Camera Cortez, Johnny, what if that one youngling didn't call Anakin Master Skywalker?
If he just said, "What up, you little turd?"
I think he would have got cut down a little quicker.
maybe.
Something that's going around is that in the novelization, the fact that which is weird, but the fact that the youngling called him Master Skywalker he was going to try and help the younglings, but him calling him Master reminded him why he was so mad at the Jedi Order, and that's what caused him to kill the younglings.
Hilarious. Let's move on to Stuart Johnson, who says, what if the Jedi were not religious bigots who hated the Sith for being the wrong religion? What?
First of all,
Wait, hold on. This
He
is
gives an
funny.
example.
He gives an example. To quote an Imperial soldier just before a Jedi murdered him in Star Wars: The Old Republic, all we ever did was defend ourselves against the Jedi aggression.
Here's the one issue with that. What's his name?
Stuart.
One problem with that. The Sith, their only problem was not that they were.
he's trying to get your goat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what?
I think
Stuart,
I think Stuart's being a little facetious.
get over here and get
I'll
my
tell you
goat.
one thing.
Get my goat.
Get my goat,
A
Stuart.
Sith is more of a cult anyway.
I think he's pulling your leg.
They're not a mainstream.
You're right. They're a little bit more-
Letitia Dragon, we love you. She is our biggest fan outside of the U.S. She told us that. I believe
wow.
she's from Brazil.
Oh,
Thank you for spreading it around the world. What if the twins didn't make it and died with Padme, Johnny?
Then they'd have two little small graves next to Padme's.
Oh my gosh, that's for me so sad.
I got one from Blake Johnson.
Hey, Blake.
What if Obi-Wan didn't have the high ground?
Oh man,
I like that one.
I mean,
I could think they both would have lost limbs,
Yeah,
and he would have been Darth Vader, and then
versus a cyborg.
versus Cyborg.
That's kind of funny.
the cyborg version of Obi-Wan that's in the first script.
Oh my God, yeah.
exactly.
Reese Edward 26. Okay, let me look at. He said a bunch.
Oh, good.
What? I'm not going to go through all.
No,
of them.
that's fine. Read a couple and I'll go through.
Okay, I like this one from Reese. What if this wasn't where the fun begins?
You know what? You're right.
This is where the fun begins.
This is where the fun begins.
And then Mike, Mr. Drobot. What if Padme tried to kill Anakin in the third act of Revenge of the Sith instead of just dying?
She would have failed.
I think
and
she
would have died, and Luke and Leia never would have existed.
I thought that she had thought about it. In the novelization, they talk about her like thinking about killing him.
It was also a possibility when they were writing the script that she was, and actually, you know what? Thank you for saying that, Mr. Drobot. The picture I have, like out of focus behind this picture I put out, it is the concept art of Padme on Mustafar with a knife. Because I
thought she had a knife
It was
or
a concept that she was going to try and stab Anakin in the back when they met each other, and that was a concept for it. Was her having a knife in her cloak?
Wow.
That would
So that
have been such a better thing.
That's
Well,
a little.
no, I think she would have failed. That's what I'm saying.
That's a little Easter egg for you guys. You know, I put thought into these
Well,
pictures.
she obviously
It's
would have
past
failed.
Easter, so you're a little late.
Do you have any, Mike?
I do. I actually have a really good one right here from the Star Wars News Post from Stian J. Johannesson. What if the red astromech that at Luke's farm didn't go all haywire?
Oh my god.
Do you really think that C-3PO was in on R2's plan to stick together? Of course not. He was
No.
an idiot. So yeah, I don't know. I bet you R2 would have shown up.
Yes.
somehow.
He would have broken
He was
free.
desperately trying to get that stinking restrictor or whatever
Right.
off of him. And once Luke got it off, he's like, "Oh, good, now I can leave."
Why wouldn't he act like BB-8 and just take over an AT-ST and start running around?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and forget that scene happened.
Jonah Music, one of our listeners. What if Yoda sensed that Palpatine was Sidious, Johnny?
What if Yoda says it?
Yeah.
I thought he did at one point or something like that. But if he did, Yoda would have went up there and did the same thing he did and probably still got defeated, honestly.
I'll answer this one. Brienne Bucks, my wife. What if Qui-Gon wasn't killed by Maul? It would have been a lot different, actually. Qui-Gon would have taken on Anakin to train him, and I think he would have done it by any means necessary. It was kind of, they brought him on as on the word of Qui-Gon's dying wish, train the boy. And I think if they didn't let him train Anakin, he would have left with them. I honestly think if the Jedi didn't let him, he would have just said, okay, and just left. And left with
probably.
Anakin. And
Obi-Wan would have stayed a Jedi, probably.
Yeah, yep. Imagine that story, though.
that would've
Imagine
been crazy.
them living on a backwater planet, Qui-Gon training Anakin, and then at some point, Obi-Wan, as a master on the council, going
has
on
to
the
find
lookout,
him, yeah.
going on the lookout for them.
Jeez,
That'd be interesting.
I've got to go. I want to.
You know what, Mike? You're so good at writing these. Write that one. Write a whole book.
I want to. That took so long.
I hope everyone heard that. I don't want to. That took so long.
Paul Santiago asks, "What if Chewie was really Ben's dad?"
Oh,
I like this. And he said, and he included hashtag and the paternity test results are in. What do we think?
I'm like, that explains why he has so much hair.
I was going to say that shirtless scene would have been a little different.
Yeah, a little bit
little
different.
hairier.
You know,
squeaky clean.
something I realized. Everyone was making fun of Kylo with his high pants.
Were they?
Yeah, I love those.
Well,
high
yeah, there was the
pants.
Kylo Ren challenge where people were putting it. Here's something I realized though. I understood kind of it made me think of like a samurai, how they have like the high belt and all that type of thing. I was thinking it was kind of a samurai thing. He got shot by Chewie's bowcaster. He was being healed.
Exactly.
So his midsection was probably wrapped up. So it wasn't his pants. It was like
some black tape. Over gauze.
That was something that kind of clicked in my head was like, oh.
Yeah, they can't show him have like, unless they wanted to put that open wound there.
Matthew Wolfrich 24. A thumb upper. What if Luke killed Ben Solo instead of creating Kylo Ren? So I read this the other last night and I was like, that is great. What if Ben took some melatonin that night and he was conked out and didn't wake up when Luke plunged the lightsaber into him.
But he wasn't going to.
He wasn't gonna. He stopped.
He stopped. He stopped
But
himself.
he's just saying, what if he did?
he killed Ben Solo? That is the what
that
if.
was the included.
So what
part.
if, Ben
wow.
stayed asleep and Luke just was like, all right, and just killed him.
Leia probably wouldn't talk to him ever again.
Yeah, Leia would have sensed it. His other students would have. He would have what? Covered it up or been honest?
He probably would have been honest.
Isn't that
Would he have?
strange?
Yeah, but
I bet
Leia
you
probably
there-
would be like, "We'll screw you."
There would have
anyway.
been some sort of schism within his students then, thinking their master had gone nuts, killing one of their eldest, most talented students. Wow, you're right. That could have been bonkers.
That could have been much worse, actually.
Could have been.
Well, except that he killed everyone anyway.
Mike, the classed Jedi, what if Padme didn't get pregnant?
Ooh, what if they were impotent? Then I guess there would have been no. Oh wow!
That would have been much worse.
Obi-Wan wouldn't have had any reason to take the twins anywhere, and he still would have had a reason to go into hiding, just like Yoda. I bet he would have just gone into hiding with Yoda.
Well, and even the question, because Anakin was trying to save Padme from dying in childbirth.
Oh yeah. So if she,
did he know that it was going to be during childbirth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow. So if she couldn't get pregnant, then
Maybe something
Sidious
else.
must
yeah.
had to have. He probably would have cooked up some new reason for Anakin to be fearing for her life.
Calhoun, don't fry your brain on that one. Fry your brain on this one.
Oh.
Star Wars _ lore master. What if Anakin decided to take the father's place on Mortis?
Oh no,
Dude.
stop going back and back and back. I have to keep cooking up new things.
But
oh man,
think about that.
Yeah.
Think about him, because that was
he
one
would
of
have
the
just
things.
disappeared from existence.
Yeah, he would have just been there and doing his thing and
Keeping balance.
keeping balance. And
And Ahsoka and Obi-Wan would have woken up
yeah,
in a ship alone
and
and
did it-
probably put on trial for assassinating or something. I don't know. I don't know what they would say. They would say, we don't remember what happened. He was there. We pass out. We wake up, and he wasn't there anymore.
He's gone.
He's gone. Wow.
And Ahsoka would finish her training with Obi-Wan.
If they weren't criminals, if they were deemed to not be criminals.
you know, with the logic in the Clone
True.
Wars, it would have been a thing of just everyone would be like, where did he go? You know, there wouldn't. Yeah.
Moving on now with Anakin missing and never to be seen again because we won't mention him. What will happen with Ahsoka, Tano, and Obi-Wan?
Looks like they're having a wacky adventure.
Looks like they're on a kazook.
Kazook.
B.Keel 44. What if Order 66 failed and Palpatine was arrested? Johnny.
Failed.
Ooh, I like that.
How does it fail?
He's like, oh man, I guess I'll have to try Order 67.
So like, there's a malfunction between
Right.
the communications.
In the chip or something.
Yeah.
Like,
wow.
imagine that misfire. The
He goes,
only other
"Hey, Commander
biggest-
Cody, execute Order 66. Nah.
or he's just like,
What does that mean?
Order 66, sir, you'll have to elaborate.
You know, kill the Jedi.
Kill the Jedi.
You know, the old kill the Jedi.
And then
lightsaber people.
Oh no! Why would I do
yeah,
that?
they're just like,
I wouldn't do that.
sir, I'm sorry, but I don't
you go
understand.
the past with the Jedi.
Yeah.
No. What? You're supposed to.
The only other biggest misfire would be in A New Hope when they're about to shoot Alderaan.
Yes.
You may fire when ready. And they just like, They just stand there looking at Alderaan, and Alderaan starts evacuating. Everyone just leaves, and they're like, oh, dang.
Blow it up anyway.
There was another what if that didn't come up. That's usually a pretty common one. Is the what if the pod that C-3PO and R2-D2
Yeah.
were in was destroyed? Because it's a pretty obvious one. Why didn't they just shoot everything that was
So,
popping off?
do you want to
Yeah.
know the canon reason?
Oh,
'Cause
sure, sure.
I listened to the book called A Different Point of View.
Okay.
I listened to a lot of it. I couldn't make it through it because it was just too much. It's basically, it goes through A New Hope from different people's points of view.
I see.
Starting with like the guy who gets choked by Darth Vader, what his story was, and then the stormtrooper that shoots Leia with the stun, and then, you know, it keeps going through the story like that. And at a certain point, I was like, I can't do this because some of them were just too much.
What do you mean too much? They're like ridiculous.
They were all the stories were written by different people, so they all have a different feel. And this one broke me. I kept listening, but I was like, I don't know if I can do this. This one with the escape pod, it was the guy who ordered not to shoot it, went to a like person who does all the filing and stuff on the Star Destroyer, and it's just him. He didn't want to shoot it because his numbers are driven by kills of humans. So there being no life forms, he chose not to do that because he wants to get promoted. That was the thing. He wanted it's like laser to human kill ratio is like how they get promoted. So he didn't want to waste a laser.
So their KD ratio or their accuracy was important.
Exactly. So and the whole story was him freaking out because what if the plans were on there, and her being like, well, if you sign this form, it can say that you malfunctioned. And if you actually sign that form, you can sign this form. And like numbering the forms and talking about forms and going into different forms. Seriously, it was just them sat at a table talking about forms. And I was like, okay, I don't know if I can listen to this whole book.
Was Arinda Price taking care of it?
Orinda. The Mandalorian Squad. We'll do a couple more. What if Palpatine got killed by Mace and Anakin hadn't turned? Well,
we've kind of explored that.
Mandalorian Squad. If you skipped to this point, which some people do, if you skip to this point to hear your name, jump back about 20 minutes or so, and you can hear me.
I also touched on this in my story because it was pretty obvious that he was a Sith because of the statues in his office.
And also, he had like that painting or whatever of like a Sith battle.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my gosh.
Everyone's like, well, that's really weird decorating.
You know who would have understood?
Who?
Thrawn. He would have taken one look at all the art in his room and go, you are a very evil person, aren't you?
You're a Sith, aren't you? Don't tell.
Oh, and how about we end on this one? Mandalorian who lifts. What if Palpatine was killed by Plagueis?
Oh, he tried to come in his sleep and it didn't work.
Right.
This
is actually something that I've thought about because they hype up Plagueis as being this super intelligent being, and then somehow he was outsmarted by Palpatine, which I don't consider as well. He's pretty smart.
He used that spin move.
But what if he failed? He's got that spin move. What if he failed? Wow. I think honestly, no one would really notice. It'd be like living in the Matrix. Everyone would kind of go about their lives.
Yeah.
And Plagueis would be like the puppet master.
Yep.
And things would play out the way he wished. Mm-hmm. I think it would have been very unnoticeable.
I don't know why, but I always think of Plagueis as like the nice Sith. I don't know why.
Do you really?
Yeah, well,
because he never does anything that you see.
No.
And you're just like,
He's not particularly like cruel to individuals.
So I will say he is cruel to one individual, and because I read the book, with Mandalorian who lifts question, it's kind of open ended when he kills Palpatine. I'm thinking we're all thinking when he
attempted his life.
To
it
kill
could be
him.
any time. Yeah.
But Plagueis does take his master's secret apprentice because his master had a secret apprentice to take over if Plagueis was not good enough. And the secret apprentice tries to kill Plagueis after Plagueis kills his master, and he defeats him and puts the secret apprentice in like a vat. And he basically keeps his vitals alive, and he kills him and brings him back to life over and over and over. And that's how he practices the metachlorian bringing people back to
wow.
life. So he doesn't.
He is particularly cruel.
He is. Yeah, he's very specifically cruel.
He's like scientific cruel.
Yes, he is.
Kind of like a Black Mirror episode.
He's like the
Yes.
he's like the Nazi scientist kind of cruel.
Yes.
Yeah. And he also takes Palpatine to a planet, which I thought was very cool. There's like a rite of passage on this planet for warriors to face Sith, and Sith come to the planet and basically kill the people. But it's their rite of passage that every so often, many years, Sith will go to this planet and they'll bring their biggest warrior and they'll fight them. And basically,
And they always win.
they
Well, not
always, they basically always win.
Oh, wow.
And Plagueis at one point after he kills the guy, he digs through his body and pulls out his heart and eats it in front of all of the people watching. And there's a great bit of dialogue where he explains to Palpatine, listen, we are Sith and we have to be brutal and disgusting and horrifying at the right moments.
Wow.
Because he doing that keeps those people fearful and making those warriors.
Wow. He's brilliant.
He is brilliant and
He's like
scary.
wise.
He's like wise.
he's like wise.
He's definitely not wise in a Socrates sense.
No.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, he's wise. Yeah, he is.
You know that Plagueis was still alive in episode 1.
Yes, he was.
Ooh, it's kind of chilling to think
Yes, it
about.
was.
It's like, what's still going on?
He was watching, I believe, if I remember correctly, I haven't read it in a while, but he was watching the platform when Qui-Gon explains the midichlorians
What?
to. Yeah, he's watching him and looking at Anakin and being like, that one is interesting. Because the whole thing about, even in the old book, he doesn't know he creates Anakin. I believe he
Yeah.
does. There's a
He
whole
doesn't
thing
know.
where he.
Oh, so it's just like a byproduct.
Yeah, there's a whole thing where he's sitting meditating, reaching out through the Force, feeling the midichlorians, and like there's like a little dialogue thing like that, and he feels something happen in the meditation, and then that's really it.
Well,
That's wild.
I think I just read a passage that was like he's like trying to make a Sith monster or something, like make some sort of evil thing. And the midichlorians themselves, I put this in quotes, realize that he's trying to do something evil and then instead make Anakin.
I think.
Quick.
Go ahead.
I know, we're going all over the place with this thing, but what was Anakin's mother's name?
Shmi.
Shmi. I think, based on just this exploration of the origins of Anakin and stuff, it's got to be Shmi is the only thing that kept him from being a monster from day one. You know what I mean? Just her raising him humbly.
Yeah.
Was the only thing that kept him from like achieving this monstrous Sith creature destiny. And then that's like the only way that he was at all human. You know, because later he did turn into this monstrous creature, and then he was brought back by what? His family.
Right.
That's true.
Oh, speaking of Shmi, and I know we're going to wrap up our show right now. Kind of ending on a lighter note, there's this video that's amazing that I found randomly one day that everyone should know about and everyone should at least see or seek out for themselves. It's called Klieg Lars Float Chair.
Oh my God, yes.
And let's see, does this work right now?
No, you
Just
can't.
got to turn it up. That's all. Just adjust the little cable there.
Here, let's
and
see.
We'll get it to work.
Whoa,
Almost.
sorry.
Forgot to change the.
Never mind.
I was gonna say, well, you can just restart it, but yeah,
Listen, guys.
it's just wonderful.
Look up.
We're going to not bring this up because I realized just now that there is some profanity in this song. So my call to you guys is do several things. Check out Star Wars _facts with a Z on Instagram. Help them celebrate 100,000 followers. Go ahead and like all of our stuff. on Instagram, Facebook, etc. And after you do all that and tell several friends about the show, go look up Klieg Lars Float Chair on YouTube because I said so. Thank you guys so much, and come back next week to see what if we continue with this show.
What if?